good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in this part of the world. Our theme tonight is how Jodapris helps students turn degrees into real world success. And I am happy and so glad you're joining us today for a conversation that is especially close to my heart because it's all about education with purpose and turning degrees into real world success. And if you're watching live, drop your city in the comments and let us know what you're studying or dreaming of becoming. We'd love to see you here. And tonight's theme is how Jodapris helps students turn degrees into real world success. I serve as an adjunct business instructor at Jodapris Christian University, and one of the things that truly excites me about is JCU is how intentionally the university connects learning to life, careers, and service. I'm delighted to introduce our guest this evening, Shery Scott. Cheryl is a career coach, solopreneur, and a small business consultant with deep expertise in career development, recruitment, advertising, and entrepreneurship. Over the years, she has supported thousands of individuals through employment transitions and business startups. Her business provides affordable legal services and identity protection to families and small business owners, which allows her to volunteer as a career coach for Jodapris students, something that speaks volumes about her values. Cheryl, welcome, and we're so happy to have you with us tonight.
Well, thank you very much for that warm welcome.
You are most welcome. So, I'm sure everybody would love to hear from you. You've worked in career coaching, recruitment, advertising, entrepreneurship, and business consulting, helping thousands of people navigate career transitions and start businesses. What inspired you to partner with Jodapris Christian University, and what excites you most about supporting JCU students?
Well, I met the founder, Dr. Maria, while I was networking for my business. And right from the get-go, we hit it off. She has such an energy and such a passion for what she is doing to help students around the world. I mean, she saw a need. There was not enough faith-based education online. And so she chose to fill that need. It was a long road, but she's made it. And how could I not want to help her? I mean, she has just such a passion and an energy. But you know what? I also appreciate that the university has very specific, focused programs. And unlike many other programs, they don't take, 5, 6 years for somebody to get a degree to then be able to get on with their career. And from a slightly selfish standpoint, I am running a business. So the fact that it is part-time, I mean, the university isn't huge. Maybe it will be one day. But
Mhm.
right now, it fits very well with the schedule that I have available. And I mean, I love meeting people from all over. So the fact that it's international, that's just a win-win as well. What excites me most is I mean, I worked with students for years and I actually miss it. I love watching them launch their careers, choose what they're going to do, and really sort of get started on that path. So to be able to, be a little part of that again is super, super exciting.
Amazing. And was there a moment when you thought, yes, this is where I can really make an impact?
Absolutely. Oh, yes, for sure. I mean, and that's what the school is all about, is helping, and that's my passion, is helping other people succeed. So to be able to do that with, an accredited university that's also online, I don't have to commute, which is a bonus. As you can
Mhm.
see, I'm in Canada, so, you know, thanks to technology, we can
That's
work from
true.
anywhere.
There you go. And so, one of the things our viewers care deeply about is this: how do I go from studying to actually succeeding? in the workplace. And from your role in job search and business advisory, what practical skills do today's students need most? And how does JCU help them develop those skills before they graduate?
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of skills that they'll need to be successful, but probably the two most important in my mind, communication skills and flexibility. I mean, if COVID taught us nothing, it's that we can't predict the future and anything can happen. And so that flexibility is super important. And I mean, careers have changed a lot. Gone are the days when somebody's going to graduate high school, go to post-secondary, get a degree, and go get a job that they're going to do till the age of 65 or later.
Mhm.
That seldom happens. I mean, maybe for doctors and lawyers because they're in school longer, but for most of us, that's not the case. Heck, I'm on career number 3. So students graduating now, whether they're young or whether they're maybe later in life, maybe this is a second or third restart for them, it's probably not the last. And so that's where flexibility comes in and communication skills. Well, I mean, that just goes with every single career, job, and business out there.
That's so
The things that
true.
they learn in the classroom and from the textbooks. I know they don't use textbooks much anymore, but you know what I mean. Those are very
True.
valuable skills. But from an employer standpoint, they can teach you process, they can teach you software, they can teach you all sorts of things. But good communication skills and flexibility and the willingness to learn and the motivation to want to work hard, whether it's as an employee or in your own business, those are things that can't be learned from a textbook.
So
And so
true. I
those are
agree.
probably some of the most important. But what I love about Jodapris is that communication skills are core across all their programs. It's built in. And so the students are going to be developing those skills, whether they realize it or not. It's a necessary part of success in, or we'll say on the classroom, but also once they get out and launch either a career or a business.
True, true. And so, what mistakes do you often see people make, and how does JCU help them avoid these mistakes?
That's a very good question. Well, I'd say probably one of the biggest mistakes, maybe not necessarily the most common, but I'd say the biggest mistake is students choosing the program or the path for all the wrong reasons. Simply because it's what their mom wanted them to do, or their dad did it and him before him and his dad before him and those aren't necessarily good reasons. If they think it's where they're going to make the most money or where there's the most jobs, again, they've got to be flexible because what's true today might not be true by the time they graduate. And it's so important to choose something where they're going to have a passion. They're going to be motivated, again, not forever, but for the foreseeable future. And so they really need to choose carefully. And I love Jodapris doesn't offer everything.
Hmm.
It's
True.
very, very selective. So if the students are choosing this university, it's for a reason. And so my hope is that they've chosen the right program for all the right reasons as well. But that's one of the things that we're going to cover in the job search and career preparation course is, hey, what is the path that you're looking at? Because let's face it, they can take a program that could lead to multiple paths as well. And so we're going to cover that and make sure that they know that they're headed down the right path for them for the right reasons, because that's going to greatly increase their chances of success.
Right. I totally agree. And as we know, many JCU students are working adults. Some are parents, and others are aspiring entrepreneurs. Based on your experience, what advice do you give students who feel uncertain about their next step or intimidated by starting something new?
Well, and it can definitely be intimidating, whether you're young and starting out or whether you're restarting later in life, especially when you've got responsibilities like families and other commitments. But you know what? I would say for them to ask themselves, what's the worst case scenario? if I move forward with this, what's the worst thing that can happen? And if it's not death, well, guess what? You can change. But also ask yourself, what's the best case scenario? And isn't it worth taking that chance? And for almost any decision, I would say, hey, if I'm stressing over something, is it going to matter in 5 days, in
Mhm.
5 weeks, or 5 years? And if the answer is no, or I can fix it, I can change it, then don't stress so much.
True. Wow. Well, one thing I truly admire about you, Cheryl, is that your business provides affordable legal services and identified protection to families and business owners. And again, it allows you to volunteer as a career coach for Jodapris students. Why is service such an important part of your work, and how does that value show up in the way you mentor students at Jodapris?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm on career number 3. So I started in recruitment advertising. I moved into career coaching. Now, along the way, I had all kinds of jobs. But when I looked back and thought what was common throughout, it was that I really had a passion for helping other people succeed. Initially, it was helping employers hire. Then it became helping folks launch careers and get good jobs. And you know what? The famous quote by Zig Ziglar, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help other people get what they want. And that has proven to be so true. So when my last job ended due to funding cuts, I
Mhm.
already had a side gig. And I thought, let's see what I can do if I turn that into my full-time career. And off I went in business. And it's been so rewarding because, again, I get to help people succeed. People
Beautiful.
launching businesses, they don't know what they don't know. They're good at their
Mhm.
craft,
Mhm.
but it takes, just as it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a whole community to raise a business. You know, I firmly believe everybody should focus on what they do best and rely on pros for the rest.
Right.
And anybody that's launching a business, you need a good accountant. You need a good lawyer. You need someone to help with marketing. There's just so many people that it takes to truly be successful. So I get to help them with that and save money along the way. And that's just, it's so rewarding to me. And now that I also get to go back to helping students as
Yeah.
well as
Mhm.
my business,
Mhm.
this is like a win-win. I'm so excited.
It's an added bonus. And we are really happy to have you in Jodapris, Cheryl. I always love hearing real stories because that's where hope becomes real. And can you share a story of a student you've coached who experienced a real breakthrough? And then, what is one action every JCU student should take this month to move closer to professional success?
Oh, I have so many stories, but I'll just pick a couple and I'll give you the short versions. There was a young man I was helping, and he was having trouble choosing a career. Actually, it was his second career. Just due to no fault of his own, he previous career ended and he couldn't do it any longer. And he was really struggling with what to do next because he had enjoyed what he did. Well, we went through some exercises. I had him delve into some research. And long story short, he figured it out. He came to me one day and he says, Cheryl, I figured it out. I know my dream job. I
Oh,
said, how do you know it's your dream job? He says, every time I think about it, every time I say it, I get goosebumps. He says, watch,
ooh,
paramedic. Look, I've got goosebumps. It was
ooh,
the funniest
oh,
thing ever. And I mean, this guy was built like a linebacker, super
mm,
tough. And just every time he thought of this career, because he too liked to help people in different ways, um, he just melted like a big teddy bear. It was so adorable. So I think of him as one. Another one was, again, not a first career. This woman had been a mom, found herself widowed, had 7 children under the
oh,
age of 8, and yet she said, my lifelong dream has been to be a nurse.
Wow.
And and she didn't graduate high school. So that was
Mm,
not going to be an easy route. And so we talked about the path. We talked about what was going to be necessary. And she said, "No, it's my lifelong dream. And I firmly believe with every door that closes opens a window. And this is my
mhm.
opportunity." She said, "I will find a way." She did it.
Wow.
It took her 10 years, but she did
Wow,
it.
but she did it. Oh
She did
God.
it. And anytime that I ever start to doubt anything, I think of her
Mhm.
because she is proof. If you want something bad enough, you will find a way. Absolutely. Now, I've got loads of other, less dramatic stories. Like the young man who thought he didn't have any experience. He was studying engineering, and I was helping him with his resume, and he felt he had nothing related to put on his resume, and he'd had no experience. He hadn't flipped a burger, delivered a newspaper, even babysat kids, nothing. And he
Mhm.
says, like, what am I going to put on my resume? I said, well, what made you choose engineering? He said, well, I'm
Mhm.
fascinated by how things are built and put together. And I mean, his face lit up as he talked about it. I said, okay, well, what do you do for fun? He said, well, my friends love to go to amusement parks, and I do too, but I don't really like the scary rides. So I usually hold everybody's coat and stand in the lineup while they're on the roller coaster. I said, and what do you do while you're waiting? He says, oh, well, I'm looking at how the roller coaster's made and all the structure. I
Mhm.
said, that's related. Let's find a way to put it in your resume. And
Amazing.
that was a huge breakthrough for him. It
Mhm.
wasn't so
Wow.
much what he was going to do, but how he was going to market himself, what he had
Very
to offer to an employer. And it was that curiosity. So,
wow.
I mean, my advice to the students who've just begun this semester, well, we're a month in now, but still relatively early, is, to think about what's my career goal? I mean, they've chosen their path in terms of education, but what do they really want it to lead to? And why? Why is that their goal?
Mhm.
And when I think of why, and not just to make money, but way deeper than that, I think of a book that I read by Dean Graziosi, and I would recommend this to all the students. Millionaire Success Habits. And Mr.
Mm.
Graziosi talks about doing the 7 levels deep exercise. And so, why do you want, in the case of the widowed mom, why do you want to be a nurse? Well, why is that important to you? Well, why is that important? Why does that matter? And you keep doing that 7 levels deep until you get to the
Mhm.
true why, because that's what's going to motivate the students, not just to get through school, which can be challenging at times, but also then to launch into whatever the next chapter is. That why is what's going to keep them going through the late nights, through the tough exams, through the what seems like impossible assignments and the never-ending, job search. Well, it's not never ending, but it seems like it when you're in it. Right. So that
Yeah.
would probably be the one thing, in addition to their studies, that they could be doing now. What do I want this to lead to? How do I see myself applying this? But why do I want that career? Which could, in fact, be a business or it could be a job. Who knows?
Right, right. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your heart for service, and your commitment to our student. It's inspiring to hear how intentionally you help people move from uncertainty to clarity to confidence. And to everyone watching, if tonight's conversation resonated with you, I encourage you to explore how Jodapris Christian University is committed to preparing students not just to graduate, but to thrive. Education is most powerful when it connects to real life. Cheryl, any final words for students who are watching and wondering if they really can succeed?
Well, think back to the nurse. If you want something bad enough, you will find a way. Absolutely. Everybody can succeed.
Wow, that's very powerful. Thank you again, Cheryl, and thank you to everyone who are joining us. And if you found value in this conversation, please like, share, and tag someone who might need to hear it tonight. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep preparing for the future you deserve. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Cheryl.
Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you.